My name is Olivia, and this is the story of my troubled childhood. From a young age, I knew that my family wasn't like others. While we appeared normal to the outside world, the dynamics within our household were far from harmonious. My father, John, was a kind and caring man. He would always greet me with a warm smile and was quick to offer words of encouragement. However, his presence alone couldn't shield me from the torment that awaited me at home. My mother, Karen, was a different story. She had a sharp tongue and a constant air of dissatisfaction. It felt as though I could never do anything right in her eyes. No matter how diligently I completed my chores or tried to please her, it was never enough. She would criticize me relentlessly, pointing out every flaw and mistake. The weight of her disapproval was crushing, and I often found myself shrinking in her presence. One particular incident stands out in my memory, illustrating the stark contrast in treatment between myself and my younger sister, Lily. It was a sunny afternoon, and I had just finished cleaning the house from top to bottom. Exhausted, but hoping for some acknowledgement, I approached my mother timidly. "Mom," I finished all the chores. "Is there anything else you need me to do?" I asked, my voice quivering. Karen glanced at me dismissively, barely acknowledging my efforts. "Don't bother me with your constant need for attention. Can't you see I'm busy?" she snapped. At the same moment, Lily, with her cherubic smile and innocent eyes, skipped into the room, clutching a drawing she had made. Karen's face softened and a loving warmth entered her voice as she exclaimed, "Oh, Lily, what a beautiful drawing. You're so talented, my sweet girl." My heart sank as I witnessed the disparity in her treatment. It was as if I was invisible, unworthy of her affection, while Lily basked in her mother's adoration. As the years went by, the divide between us grew wider. Karen's favoritism towards Lily became more evident, and I could feel the resentment building within me. Despite the constant mistreatment, I held on to the hope that things would change, that I would earn my mother's love and acceptance. Little did I know, the fractures within our family would deepen, and our lives would be forever altered. The seeds of betrayal were already sown, waiting to sprout and shatter our fragile existence. The tension in our household reached its breaking point when I turned 12. The cracks in my parents' marriage were becoming increasingly visible, and it was only a matter of time before the truth would unravel. One evening, I overheard my parents arguing in hushed voices. Curiosity got the better of me, and I crept closer to their bedroom door, trying to make out their words. "I can't believe you would do this to our family, Karen." My father's voice trembled with a mix of anger and sadness. "You think I'm the only one to blame," my mother, Karen, retorted sharply. "You've been distant and neglectful for years." Their heated exchange sent a chill down my spine. I knew that something significant was about to happen, a moment that would forever alter the course of our lives. A few weeks later, the truth emerged. My father, John, had discovered Karen's infidelity. It was a devastating blow to our family, and the pain radiated through every interaction. One evening, my parents called me into the living room. Their faces were etched with a mixture of sorrow and resignation. The atmosphere was heavy with unspoken words. "Olivia, we need to talk," my father began, his voice heavy with sadness. "Your mother and I have decided to get a divorce." I felt a lump forming in my throat as the weight of his words sank in. 1,000 questions swirled in my mind, but I could only manage a whispered response. "Why? What happened?" My mother's face remained impassive as she coolly replied, "Your father and I have grown apart. We're no longer happy together." I looked at them, searching for some sign of reassurance, but all I saw was a void, emptiness, where our family unity once thrived. The custody battle that ensued was emotionally draining. The courtroom became a battleground, with each parent vying for custody of me and my younger sister, Lily. It was a painful experience, witnessing my parents tear each other apart, each claiming to be the better caregiver. In the end, my father, John, managed to secure custody of me. The judge recognized the toxic environment my mother had created and deemed it unfit for our well-being. However, Lily was taken away by our mother, leaving a void in my heart that seemed impossible to fill. The day of the divorce decree, my mother's parting words still echo in my mind, filled with bitterness and resentment. "You're lucky you got to stay with your precious father. Don't think I won't fight for Lily. She'll be mine." As my parents' marriage crumbled, so did my hope for a unified family. The divorce marked the beginning of a fractured existence, where the bonds that once held us together were severed, and we were left to navigate the pieces of our shattered lives. In the wake of my parents' divorce, our family felt fragmented and incomplete. However, life had a way of surprising us when we least expected it. A new chapter was about to unfold, introducing a remarkable woman who would become a beacon of love and stability in my life. My father, John, eventually found love again and remarried a woman named Rachel. When Rachel entered our lives, I was hesitant and guarded. I had been hurt so deeply by my own mother's actions that I struggled to trust anyone new in my life. One afternoon, Rachel asked me to join her for a walk in the park. Reluctantly, I agreed, my mind filled with apprehension. As we strolled along the winding paths, Rachel spoke softly, her words infused with warmth and sincerity. "I know this must be challenging for you, Olivia," she began, her eyes filled with empathy. "But I want you to know that I'm here for you. I care about you deeply, and I want to be the mother figure you deserve." Tears welled up in my eyes as her genuine words washed over me. It was a stark contrast to the harsh treatment I had endured from my own mother, Karen. I slowly began to let my guard down, allowing Rachel's kindness to seep into my wounded heart. Over time, Rachel proved herself to be a woman of compassion and unwavering support. She listened to my fears, my hopes, and my dreams without judgment. She celebrated my accomplishments, no matter how small, and encouraged me to believe in myself. One evening, as we sat in the living room, Rachel turned to me with a smile. "Olivia, I hope you know how special you are to me. You've grown into an incredible young woman, and I feel privileged to be a part of your life." I fought back tears, the weight of her words filling me with a profound sense of belonging. "Thank you, Rachel," I whispered, my voice filled with gratitude. "You've become more than a stepmother to me. You've become more than a stepmother to me. You're like the mother I always wished I had." Our bond continued to deepen, and I found solace in Rachel's presence. Despite the physical distance between Lily and me, Rachel encouraged us to maintain a connection. She helped facilitate phone calls and visits whenever possible, ensuring that the sisterly bond we once shared remained intact. As the years passed, Rachel's love and guidance helped shape the person I became. She instilled in me a sense of self-worth and taught me the true meaning of unconditional love. Though my relationship with Lily remained limited, we cherished the moments we spent together, keeping the flame of sisterhood alive. In Rachel, I found the mother I had always longed for. A woman who saw the beauty within me, believed in my potential, and loved me without reservation. She became an integral part of our family, bringing a sense of stability and healing that I never thought possible. Life had finally settled into a semblance of normalcy with Rachel as our steadfast pillar of support. Our family had found solace and stability, but fate had other plans in store for us, ones that would test our strength and resilience. One fateful day, tragedy struck when my father, John, was involved in a severe car accident. The news shattered our world, plunging us into a state of shock and fear. Rachel and I rushed to the hospital, our hearts heavy with worry and uncertainty. As we entered the sterile hospital room, the sight of my father lying there, battered and bruised, filled me with a deep ache. Tubes and machines surrounded him, his face bearing the marks of pain and struggle. Rachel gripped my hand tightly, offering silent comfort. "Dad," I choked out, my voice trembling. "We're here. You're going to be okay." John managed a weak smile, his eyes filled with love and gratitude. "I'm glad you're here, Olivia. Take care of your stepmother. She needs you now." Rachel's eyes glistened with tears as she squeezed my hand, finding strength in our shared presence. "We're in this together, John. We'll support each other." Days turned into weeks, and we remained by John's side, offering words of encouragement and prayers for his recovery. Rachel tirelessly coordinated with the doctors and nurses, her unwavering determination a testament to her love for my father. We invited my own mother, Karen, and my sister to the room, looking for their support. But when they came, they started mocking my father. "Serves him right. He betrayed us," said Karen with a nasty smirk on her face. "And you, Olivia, you're a traitor too," she said, looking at me angrily. An argument ensued, at the end of which my own mother told me never to speak to them again. During one particularly difficult visit, my father's condition took a turn for the worse. Fear gripped my heart as I watched the medical team rush into the room, their urgency evident. Rachel's voice trembled with desperation as she pleaded, "Please, do everything you can to save him." Hours turned into an eternity as we clung to the hope that John would pull through. The waiting room became our sanctuary, filled with silent prayers and shared anxiety. Finally, the doctor emerged, his face etched with sorrow. "I'm so sorry," he began, his voice heavy with grief. "Despite our best efforts, we couldn't save him. John has passed away." The words hung in the air, piercing our hearts with unimaginable pain. The room spun, and I felt Rachel's grip on my hand tighten, her sobs mingling with my own. The days that followed were a blur of funeral arrangements and unbearable grief. Family and friends gathered to pay their respects, offering condolences and sharing in our sorrow. But amidst the sea of mourners, two faces were noticeably absent, my mother, Karen, and Lily. It was a stark reminder of the fractured relationships that defined our family. The very people who had once ridiculed my father now chose to disregard his passing, leaving an indelible mark of betrayal and abandonment. As we laid my father to rest, grief engulfed us, threatening to drown us in its suffocating embrace. Yet in the midst of our anguish, Rachel stood tall, her strength unwavering. "Olivia," she whispered, her voice filled with determination. "We will get through this together. We'll honor your father's memory and find the strength to carry on." Her words offered a glimmer of hope amidst the darkness, a reminder that we still had each other. Rachel became my rock, guiding me through the tumultuous waves of grief, her unwavering love, a beacon of light in my darkest moments. The loss of my father, John, left a void in my heart that seemed impossible to fill. As the days turned into weeks, the reality of his absence settled upon me, weighing heavily on my spirit. It was time to bid him a final farewell, to honor his memory and find a way to carry on without him. The funeral day arrived, shrouded in a heavy cloak of grief. Friends and family gathered to pay their respects, their solemn faces reflecting the magnitude of our loss. Flowers adorned the room, their vibrant colors contrasting with the somber atmosphere. As I stood at the podium, my voice quivered with emotion as I attempted to capture the essence of my father's spirit. Memories flooded my mind, a montage of laughter, love, and life lessons that he had imparted. My father was more than a parent to me. He was my hero, my guiding light. I spoke, my voice trembling. He taught me the importance of resilience, compassion, and unwavering love. He believed in me when I doubted myself and encouraged me to chase my dreams. Tears streamed down my face as I shared stories of our adventures, his gentle smile, and the sound of his laughter that filled our home. The room was filled with a bittersweet mix of sorrow and gratitude, the collective memories of a man who had touched so many lives. Rachel stood beside me, her hand resting on my shoulder, offering silent support. Her presence was a source of strength, a reminder that I wasn't alone in my grief. After the service, we gathered for a private moment at my father's gravesite. The air was heavy with a solemn silence as we stood, each lost in our own thoughts. "I can't believe he's gone," I whispered, my voice breaking. "I miss him so much." Rachel squeezed my hand gently, her voice filled with understanding. "I know, Olivia. I miss him too, but we'll carry his memory in our hearts and continue to live our lives, honoring him in everything we do." As the earth embraced my father's casket, a flood of emotions overwhelmed me. The finality of the moment struck me like a lightning bolt, solidifying the reality of his absence. Yet, amidst the pain, I found solace in the memories we shared, knowing that his love would forever remain within me. In the days that followed, life settled into a new rhythm, one tinged with a deep sense of loss. Rachel and I leaned on each other for support, finding strength in our shared grief. We reminisced about my father, sharing stories and cherishing the legacy he left behind. As time passed, the pain of his absence softened, replaced by a profound appreciation for the impact he had on my life. His memory became a guiding force, reminding me to seize every opportunity and live a life worthy of his love and belief in me. In the aftermath of my father's passing, grief lingered in the corners of my heart, casting a shadow over my days. Yet, amidst the sorrow, life continued to unfold, revealing unexpected twists and turns that would forever shape my journey. A few years had passed since the funeral, and I had found love in the arms of a kind and compassionate man named Ethan. We had built a strong and loving relationship, and as our bond deepened, we knew we were ready to take the next step. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the world, I sat beside Rachel, who had become more than a stepmother to me. She was my confidant, my guiding light, and a constant source of love and support. "Rachel," I began, my voice filled with a mix of excitement and nervousness, "I have something important to talk to you about." Her eyes sparkled with curiosity as she turned to me. "What is it, Olivia?" I took a deep breath, feeling a surge of anticipation. "Ethan and I have decided to get married. He's asked me to be his wife, and I've said yes." A smile blossomed on Rachel's face, a reflection of the joy that filled her heart. "Oh, Olivia, that's wonderful news. I couldn't be happier for you. Ethan is a remarkable man, and I know you two will build a beautiful life together." Tears welled up in my eyes as I embraced Rachel tightly. Her unwavering support and genuine happiness for me meant more than words could express. Months flew by in a flurry of wedding preparations, blending moments of joy and nostalgia with the ever-present ache of my father's absence. As the big day approached, Rachel and I found ourselves engulfed in a whirlwind of emotions. On the morning of the wedding, as I stood before the mirror, a flood of memories washed over me. I wished, with all my heart, that my father could be there to walk me down the aisle to share in this milestone moment. But in his absence, I found solace in the love that surrounded me. Rachel entered the room, her eyes filled with tears of happiness. "Olivia, you look absolutely radiant," she said, her voice filled with pride. "Your father would be so proud of the woman you've become." A mixture of joy and sorrow washed over me as I met her gaze. "Thank you, Rachel. I wish he could be here, but I know he's watching over us." She nodded, her voice filled with reassurance. "He is. And today, we celebrate not only your love for Ethan, but also the love your father instilled in you. He will always be a part of this journey." As I walked down the aisle, my heart fluttered with a myriad of emotions. Ethan's eyes met mine, filled with love and anticipation. Our vows were exchanged, a promise to stand by each other's side, through thick and thin, just as Rachel and my father had stood by me. In that moment, I felt a sense of completeness, a merging of past and present, of loss and love. Though my father's physical presence was missed, his spirit lived on within me, guiding me toward a future filled with hope and happiness. Life had finally taken a turn for the better. I had found love and happiness with Ethan, and we embarked on our journey as husband and wife. But as the saying goes, life is never without its challenges, and for me, a final betrayal awaited, threatening to shatter the newfound peace I had built. It had been a few years since our wedding, and Ethan and I had settled into a harmonious rhythm of love and companionship. Our home was filled with warmth and laughter, a sanctuary, away from the trials of the outside world. But one phone call would disrupt our serenity and unravel the fragile tapestry of trust that held my past and present together. I answered the phone, unaware of the storm that awaited me on the other end of the line. It was Lily, my younger sister, whose voice trembled with a mix of anger and despair. "Olivia, how could you? How could you not come to our mother's funeral?" Shock coursed through my veins as her words hit me like a punch to the gut. My mind raced, trying to make sense of the accusation. "Lily, what are you talking about?" "Our mother passed away. When?" Lily's voice cracked with anguish. "She's been gone for months, Olivia. And you didn't even bother to show up. You've abandoned us, just like everyone else." Confusion mingled with pain as I struggled to process her words. The realization of my mother's passing cut deep, but the accusations hurled at me wounded even more. "Lily, I didn't know. Nobody informed me. How could I have come if I wasn't aware?" Lily scoffed, her voice laced with bitterness. "You always find excuses, don't you? It's typical of you, always putting yourself first. You're nothing but a traitor." The weight of her words crushed my spirit, and a sense of helplessness washed over me. "Lily, please, let's not do this now. I want to understand what happened. I want to understand what happened. I want to be there for you." But before I could say more, Lily hung up, leaving me with a hollow ache in my chest. I sat there, stunned and wounded, grappling with the sudden loss of my mother and the fractured relationship with my sister. Days turned into weeks, and I struggled to find closure amidst the lingering questions and unresolved pain. Ethan, my pillar of support, stood by my side, offering solace and understanding. "Olivia, I can only imagine the pain you're going through," Ethan said gently. His voice filled with empathy. "But remember, you did nothing wrong. You didn't receive the news, and it's unfair for Lily to accuse you without understanding the circumstances." I nodded, grateful for his unwavering support. "I just wish things could have been different, that we could have found a way to heal our fractured family." Ethan enveloped me in his arms, his love providing a balm for my wounded heart. Sometimes, healing comes from within, from creating a family of our own. We can't change the past, but we can build a future filled with love and compassion. Months passed, and the wounds inflicted by Lily's accusations slowly began to heal. I focused on nurturing my relationship with Ethan and building a family rooted in love and understanding. But one day, the phone rang again, and Lily's voice echoed through the receiver. "Olivia, some people are demanding compensation for our mother's marriage fraud. I don't have the money. Can you help me?" Anger surged within me, fueled by the memories of her cruelty and betrayal. "Lily, you turned your back on me when I needed you the most. You mocked our dying father and ridiculed me. Now you expect me to bail you out. Deal with it yourself." With that, I hung up the phone, blocking her number. It was time to let go of the toxic ties that bound us to protect my own happiness and sanity. As the years rolled on, I found solace in my chosen family, the one I had built with Ethan. We celebrated our love, surrounded by a circle of friends who became our true support system. And in the midst